Hello everyone, I just thought I'd make a quick video showing you a little book that I managed to pick up today, as you can see, for just 50p, and it's aimed to kill Warsaw Pact equipment recognition. So basically, this was a little notebook that was given to service personnel to help them identify Warsaw Pact equipment, vehicles, aircraft and the like, that they might encounter either on the border between East and West Germany during the Cold War, or if the Cold War ever turned hot, then it'd help them identify and ultimately destroy the Warsaw Pact equipment. I can just turn this over a sec. So on the back you can see the three branches of the American, British and Canadian Armed Forces that work together to produce this. So you got the Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, which those abbreviations the Americans love so much. Headquarters, Canadian Forces Europe, and 7th Intelligence Company, Intelligence and Security Group, Germany, UK. So just turn it over again. Now, like I said, I found this for 50p in a charity shop this morning, and when I did a bit of research for this just now, I actually found that these books are going for about £22–23 on eBay, so I've had a bit of a bargain. So it's basic content section, so covering everything that the book covers. A bit more information, so you got like Russian abbreviations, what they stand for, and type of vehicle that they belong to. So like classic BTR is an APC, BRDM, armoured recce vehicle. So each section sort of starts out like this, where it's got a recognition features page to help identify the different types of vehicles, in this case tanks. So it highlights, look at the turret, gun barrel, bolt, evacuator, suspension, and from that it helps you determine what type of vehicle you're looking at. Now, so we got to the page for the T55. One thing you will never find in a Jane's recognition book: vulnerabilities. So limited main gun depression, which means the gun can't go down as far as perhaps some Western tanks could, and external fuel storage. So if you're trying to destroy this, you just target the fuel tank on the back. So each entry has a little black and white image, and they're not very high quality, but that's to be expected from the 80s, because a lot of these were not so much intelligence photos but publicity photos. It was very difficult to get good intelligence photos on Soviet equipment back in the day. So we've got T64, so a few more vulnerabilities here. Auxiliary fuel tank, limited main gun depression again. This is interesting. Now, a hit on the turret or hull with an anti-tank weapon can damage the autoloader. So what they're basically saying there is you can effectively not immobilize the tank, but take the tank out of the fight. So if we move on, so we got some APCs, and the Russians really liked wheeled APCs more than they did tracked APCs, although they did do like the BMP-2, which was a tracked APC. So this one also goes into like sub-variants and things. So on this one we got vulnerabilities, likely armoured. If memory serves, I think it's about 8mm maximum thickness on a BTR-80, which I was reading recently. So that's why that's fresh in my memory, about 8mm. But of course it's heavily sloped, so that will increase its ability to deflect around and sustain more damage. BTR simply. There we go. So we got tracked APCs. I think this is a utility vehicle. No, it's an armed personnel carrier. I'm terrible. Recce vehicles. BRDM2. It's kind of like the equivalent of a British Army ferret. Let's move up a bit further. Yeah, it's more tracked vehicles. Helicopters. So again, just like anybody who's ever had any sort of recognition training knows, you work on specific sections of what you're looking at and trying to identify it. I used to teach aircraft recognition when I was in my air training corps days, and as you can probably tell by my voice, a lot of my cadets fell asleep. So the Mi-17, so vulnerabilities here: tail rotor, engine, troop compartment and cockpit. Shoot the cockpit, it won't fly. There's the hook. Let's move on to jet fighters. Now there's the one they were all worried about. So see, notes, this carries up to 12 troops. I suppose that would be important to remind soldiers on the ground who might not be too familiar with helicopters. It's obviously very well armed, and it'd be very easy to mistake it for just a plain old gunship. Now, and here we have an early artist's illustration of what the Havoc might look like. And the nose section's different, obviously, but they got the correct overall configuration there. Vulnerabilities, tail rotor. And you got aircraft, so dorsal fin, cockpit, exhaust, ventral fin and air intake. So the fish bed, MiG-21. That's interesting too. You can tell it's a NATO publication, because it doesn't give like MiG-21, MiG-23, even though they did know that this was a MiG-21. It was not common for the Soviets to just tell everybody what their designations for aircraft were, so they came up with the NATO reporting names. And even when they did know what they were, they just kept to these reporting names because it was easier for their pilots and their soldiers on the ground to just say fish bed rather than MiG-21. In this case, I think that's a MiG-21 MF. A rather odd looking fitter. I don't think that's real, or if it is, it's been cut probably. It should be a more pointed radome there. And of course the Flogger D. And the mighty flying tank, the Sturmovik. And then on the last section, very useful for a sniper, just to get an idea of the rank insignia of the Soviet armed forces. Of course, a lot of it was repeated with the Eastern European forces. And that's pretty much it. We've got just the Soviet Arm of Service at the back. There we go. So, that is Aim to Kill Warsaw Pact equipment. And nice little book, you know, it's very small. If I can just put my hand, I haven't got a very big hand, but you can see there it's quite small, so it'd be very easy to keep on your persons. And thanks for watching. I'll probably put some stills up on the main site. There we are. Thank you very much.